Alrighty, and welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I am going to be covering and showcasing very in-depth how to complete the support challenge. And this will work for all of them as long as you have the correct characters you need, but specifically for the T3 to T4 to T5 range right here. So there's two methods which I'm going to be going over today. The first method is the cheese method, and this lets you complete it earlier, but requires very precise timing and it's very mechanically difficult. So in order to do method number one, you need Tsubasa. She is the only character you need. It doesn't matter the level, anything. All you need is her leader ability. And then you could pick any other two healers. So I'm going to pick Foxie, Moxie, and Druid Jenkins just because they are currently some of my two strongest healers. And so that'll just help me stay alive just a little bit in case I need it, which I will not. All I need is Tsubasa. So for method number two, you are going to need Windsummers, Pink Lady, and then either Druid, Row, or Meme Master, depending on which one is your strongest, whether or not they have a lot of healing, or if you want to go for damage using Druid Jenkins. So method number two is simply having enough healing. Windsummers is going to be your big and main carry. You need her leader ability as high level as possible, her slow heal as high level as possible, or 2-star, and then her 5-star positive thoughts is an absolute must for this one. So that's going to be the only requirement, is waiting until you have her 5-star with all of those fairly leveled up. Your support characters, which will help you stay alive longer, is Pink Lady. You want high levels of her leader ability, and then you also want her healing ring. Her 4-star is just additional healing because it's a damage over time, and that is very nice for the skeletons, so you don't have to keep them healed. And then Meme Master works well because at 4-star he could get a resurrection, but that could also be problematic if he resurrects the wrong ally, so you have to be careful with bringing him in. He also gets a good healing with his Auric Sermon. So it really depends on whether or not you have a lot of res, and it's the same thing with Row where he could res the wrong ally. So that's why I generally prefer to bring in Druid for my third pick, because all you need for him is just his totem ability, which can allow you to have the golem damage himself more, and I'll explain this in a bit. So actually moving on into the challenge here, the order in which you set up matters, specifically more for the method number one, the cheese method. So you can see I'm currently 10k underneath the power using some very weak characters. So for method number one, you want Tsubasa to be in this order, and then it doesn't matter what other two characters you pick or the order. All that matters that you need to know is that the second character is going to go on the bottom and the third character is going to go on the top. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the timing for everything, and then later I'll put on screen the Stomp Rotation so you know when the stomps are coming and you can look at it and reference it. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about everything and how it'll go down. So there's going to be 8 steps. Step 1 is you're going to enter the stage, and then as soon as it starts, you're going to immediately prep by moving characters around. At step 2 is going to be you're going to pull back the healers at 16 seconds, and then you're going to move the second and third healers right in front of the goblins because they need to be close enough where they are within range of all of the goblin archers or the goblin flingers, the slingshotter guys, as well as the golem. And then step number 3 is going to be you're going to cast resurrection using Tsubasa on your second and third healer, and only the second and third healer. You'll avoid casting it on the Axeman and on the skeleton archers. So the reason being is the Axeman spawns the goblin miners upon his death, so you don't want more of them. And then you're just going to spend steps 4 and 5 is going to be a repeat where you're going to avoid the stomp and then cast res on the second and third healers. Step number 6 is going to be moving Tsubasa close so you could get a stomp off on him, and then you're going to move out of range and then res your healers. And then from that point on, it is a matter of whether or not you've killed all of the goblin miners or you have reach any sort of that point whatsoever. So now I'm going to go ahead and hop in and see if I could show this to you all. So I'm going to immediately move my characters back. I'm going to move Foxie over here and Druid over here. So you want to be about lined up with this pile of sticks here, and you just want to be slightly offset. So you want it to be close enough so you could still heal him just a little bit, and you also want to have enough healing so he can survive that front sweep. If you don't have enough healing to survive that front sweep, then you need to pick a different healer. That is the only condition that needs to be met. So now that was step number 1, is prepping the stage. Step number 2 is I'm going to select all, and I'm going to move all of my characters about right here, and then I am going to move Tsubasa back. And then after he is killed, the Goblin Miners or the Goblin Slingers are going to spawn, and then I'm going to move all my characters are going to be moved directly in front of them within range of the Stomp circle and directly in the center of all these Goblin characters. But I also need to be moving Tsubasa back at the same time, so it's going to be a quick dun 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 in order to complete step 2. So this is the most technically difficult, and if you could complete this step, you have a super good chance of being able to pass everything. It's all about the initial positioning on this step. So if you can't do this, it's easy to quit out and attempt it again. So now, at 16 seconds exactly is when I'm going to pull my characters back. So I'm just going to get ready for that. I'm going to move, and then I'm going to move Tsubasa back here, and then I'm going to get ready to move my characters after the stomp. So I need to move them as close as possible to the Goblin Miners, and then keep Tsubasa out of range. So this looks to be very good. So that was step number 3, or step number 2 was moving everybody and positioning it correctly. So now for step number 3, at 36.5 seconds, I'm going to cast Resurrection. I need to make sure that I don't cast it on the skeleton archers up here and here, and that I also don't cast it on the axemen. So it's very important that you don't cast it on the axemen no matter what, and those guys as well. So I'm just going to get ahead and get ready. So I'm just going to show you, that's what the green, I don't want any green there, any green up there, and I don't want the big green guy. I want just my 2 healers, and I'm going to cast this at 36.5 seconds. And so what this will do is it'll have them within range, so the stomp will hit the golem here as well as all of the miners. If I cast it too soon or too late, I'll miss my opportunity for stomp, and I will also be unable to, basically my 2 guys will move back out of range. So this is the test. So you can see I hit all of the Goblin Miners as well as the golem itself. So that was a perfect hit right there. So now I'm going to run this. The next stomp is going to be at 58.7 seconds. So all I need to do is just move Tsubasa up and out of the way once that 58.7 occurs to avoid the stomp. So we're just going to wait a couple more seconds, and then we're going to move Tsubasa out of the way, and boom. Alright, so now we're going to do the final step, which is at 118.6 seconds. 118.6. I'm going to cast my final res to kill all of the goblins and then get another big stomp off. So 118.6. After that, you're in the clear, and this is the easy part. There's not much left other than some avoiding and managing. So I just need, again, make sure I'm not resurrecting skeletons, only my 2 healers, and not the skeleton archers or the axemen. So at 118.6 is when I'm going to cast this. So I'm just going to wait another 2 seconds. I'm like sweating so hard right now. This is crazy. It's such a pain to get this timing off. 118.6. All right. I was a little bit off, but it should still work. I just need to move Tsubasa a little bit further. All right. So now that I've done that, I could have a whole lot of freeway. He does about 14.6k, and I just need to make sure I'm avoiding his front sweep. So it's 14.6k damage every time he stomps. So I'm just going to move off to the side here, and he's going to do another front sweep likely, and then another stomp. So the next one's at 141, and then I'm just going to move Tsubasa out of the way. He's going to stomp himself. Alright, and then now from here, you could res any of the characters except for the big axe guy. So I just want to wait until after the sweep just to be safe. And then I'm going to res as many things as possible here. Alright, so now I'm going to move all of my characters and hold them right here. And then I'm also going to cast my totem right here because the totem counts as well. So if he doesn't stomp or if the archers kill him, then I just move them out of the way. And so that's it. That's how you complete the 3-star attempt using method 1, the cheese method. And you can see I had like hardly any healing whatsoever. Well, Wind Summers could easily output a couple million damage. So that was it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I will look forward to seeing you all in my next video. And you know what, guys? I ended the video and then I just realized that I never talked about method number 2. So method number 2 is going to be very, very similar. The only difference that you're going to do is, in order to keep them healed, I'm just going to go ahead and showcase this. You need to be very careful with your initial positionings. So you want to move your characters in small movements. So basically, he's going to attack, and then I'm going to move my characters, and then I'm going to wait for him to do another attack, and then I'm going to move my characters again, and then he's going to do another attack, and then I'm going to move Tsubasa over here, and then I just need to be ready to move the characters. So the reason why I was doing that inching along is so that they don't go from here and run all the way to here and then heal. So basically I'm healing, moving a little bit, healing, moving a little bit, healing, and that way it keeps him alive for as long as possible. If you're using Wind Summers, what you're going to do is you're going to have her here, and then at 16 seconds, you're going to pull Wind Summers back a little bit so the stomp does not hit him with your other character. Is basically you want your healers to always be as far away from him as possible and towards the back end if at all possible. And so that's how you're going to clear it using method number 2, is doing those micro movements if you are close in the healing. And so now that truly is the wrapping up here. I got you guys for real. So if you guys enjoyed it, give me a like on the video, subscribe, and I will keep bringing you all more content regardless. So we'll see you all in the next video.